Hello and welcome back. We're here to watch Pole Vault, so let's watch Pole Vault.
Alright, so last time we had a meet. We competed for meet lefts. It's quite good, actually. We had cleared 526, a couple good attempts at 541, which would be the bar that I would really want to make, is that 541. And so the meet was on a Friday. This is the Tuesday after, so I had a fair bit of time um, to recover, get back into practice. I've been really consistent from three lefts. With I'm technically very consistent from three lefts. Of course, everything changes when you get onto a bigger pole. You're pushing a bigger pole down the runway. It becomes much more. Everything is faster, and you need to worry more about timing in terms of getting the plant up. So I wanted to go from six lefts at this practice, which is why I'm going back to four lefts, taking a few from four lefts. I wasn't quite getting into the pit though from four lefts. And I ran through. My hamstring actually hurt a little bit on this one, getting out on it, which is why I ran through. I usually never run through. Um, yeah, it was just a little bit odd. It just hurt a little bit and then it went away. Just like top of the hamstring, like it always hurts a little bit, but it was just a little bit more than usual on that one. So I decided, like, I mean, yeah, I could probably fight through it and get back to six lefts and take a few decent ones, but like, I'd rather just go from three lefts and get a good practice from three lefts rather than trying to go back to six lefts and be fighting it all the way through. Like, I feel like I can get better technical progress, even if it's from short approach. And yeah, it's not exactly the same as jumping from six lefts or eight lefts is three lefts, but I can still work on my top end on turning off the pole and clearing big bars close to my PR from short approach. So that's what I did on this practice. Put the bar at I believe 14 feet. The first clearance. Yeah, the at this so I'm on that 14-foot 185 again. And I'm just really trying to focus on having a good big plant. So this position, it's pretty consistent on my positioning off the ground on this day. It's just getting a good big plant and then swinging through it fully. And I was concentrating on getting the top end really getting inverted. So this one wasn't quite as good as getting inverted. Now that is the second time that my bloodline has been in serious danger. Oh man, this was a scary jump indeed. Yes, this was nearly the end of my lineage. Let's look at the damage. All right, so as you can see, as you saw earlier, I came down. I made the bar. It was 14'6". I made the bar, and I came down, and the pole tore right through my shorts and bloodied up my side. And you've probably seen a few videos on the internet when instead of when some more serious damage has been done in less preferable areas. Yes, this was a very close miss. This was nearly, very nearly something very bad. So you never think that it would happen to you. Like, I've seen the videos of people landing on top of their poles and having not very good, ending up in the hospital with many stitches and possibly serious issues. But I never thought, like, you never think that it's going to happen to you till you have a near miss. And so after this jump, I put a plug on top of my pole. And if you're watching this, I suggest that you do the same. And again, like, you never think it's going to happen to you until you have a near miss. And so let my near miss convince you to put a plug on top of your pole if you haven't already. It's not particularly fashionable. However, it drastically reduces the risk of severance. As I said, this is the second near miss. Let's look at the first near miss. I wonder if you can see it better here. So I was way under on this vault. This was like sophomore year. I was way under, and I used to have this terrible habit of a third attempt. I would just run super hard and just run myself under. I just flew off to the side, and then the iron pegs that hold up the bar, that hold up the crossbar. So this one had it like going all the way down, and my leg, pretty much my inner thigh, was impaled by one of those pegs, and I twisted around it, and it sliced my leg open. So that's what was happening there. Let's assess the damages of that one. So this is what my leg looked like, my inner thigh. Just completely flayed open. It's not the most pleasant experience. But I went to the ER. They actually got it together pretty decently. So look at how just like wide gaping hole, and they're actually able to staple it together quite nicely. Yeah, look at that. That was the same day. They stapled it together. It was like this weird like V shape, just a perfect cut. But then this skin right here was all the way over here, and they somehow got it all to come together nicely. So yeah, it's kind of cool to see that all come. See how they're able to do that, I guess. But so that was sophomore year, 5 years ago. This is a recent photo. I still have this scar on my right leg here. You can see it's my inner thigh, and it's very close to being the end of the Urlacher bloodline right there. So that was the first near miss. We just witnessed the second near miss. Let us hope there is no more near misses. However, so which number was that? Watch 11. Okay, so I was a little bit shaken up after that. I was a bit bloodied, and I think it was 9 that we just watched. Yep, it's this one. I was a little bit shaken up after that. I was a bit bloodied. So I got some water, I did a few excels, put a cap on the end of the pole so that doesn't happen again. And I got back to jumping. So I made the 14 feet. Now I'm going for 15 feet. This was a very close attempt. I did like this attempt. Let's see, it was good. Step was right on. My plant was consistent throughout the entire day, and it kind of it's easier to do it from 3 lefts certainly than from 8. But I was really able to swing myself underneath, and this is a really strong position for being inverted. My swing was really strong on the day. Swing was really strong, but my steps, I had a hard time with my steps. That's why I went from 3 lefts. Because on some of my 4 lefts, I was out and my hamstring was hurting a bit, and so like I felt like I could get better work done from 3 lefts on the day, and it was like ideally I'll be at 6 lefts, jumping, going after that 525 bar, taking probably about 12 jumps from 6 lefts would be the ideal day. But sometimes, like I took a lot of jumps on that Friday. This is the Tuesday practice. Sometimes it takes me about a week to recover from a big meet like that. So it's not a huge deal to go down to take a practice from 3 lefts. And it's still getting good work done. I mean, I was really working on this top end, and I really came around with that top arm is definitely better as well, which gives me a really, really close attempt. I blew through the pole that time. Definitely jumping good. And that is a 15-foot clearance using a 14-foot pole. 15-foot clearance using a 14-foot pole. Nah, that's crazy. That's a tiny little pole. 14 foot, 185. So it's like, I was actually impressed I was able to clear this. So, really good plant takeoff position right here. Ideally, being like a little bit under is actually quite preferable for me. And I'm able to move my arms really well from here. Really get really good pressure with my top hand, and then be swinging really aggressively with that left leg. And then I get into a great invert position right here. That's exactly where I want to be. And I have this nice early turn. And I have good pressure with my top hand down onto the pole throughout the entire vault. So that's why I was able to scrape over 15 feet with such a tiny pole. Man, if only I was able to do that on Friday. If I was able to do that on last Friday, make that 541, then I'd be very, very happy with that. So, but that's definitely good technical work. I wasn't able. This is definitely the first. I feel like that's the highest I've gotten out of this pole, certainly. I think I might be the only person in the world to ever clear 15 feet using a 14-foot pole. I feel like it's not something that people do often, or people would train on often. And I feel like there's just not very many 14-foot poles. Not very many big 14-foot poles being made. I think most people clearing 15 feet be mostly men who are training that bar, and you'd be on a 15-foot pole. It's not particularly difficult. Transition up to a 15-foot pole. It'd be interesting to think about, I suppose. That was another good attempt. I was just going for the 15 again. This one I didn't quite. Oh, it was still very good. Still very good. It was just high bar. You have to be perfect. I just didn't get quite the same penetration, so I just missed it. Yeah, and then this one wasn't a great jump. It was just slow off the ground. Maybe I was tired or something. Who knows? But yeah, the pole just bent weird, and then the bar smacked me in the head on the way down right here. Or it hit my shoulder first, then my head. So it didn't actually hit me that hard. So I was fine, certainly. But like, I decided it was clear that the pole vault gods did not have my best intentions at heart on this day, I suppose. So yeah, so I decided to call it a day there. I got good work done. I cleared the 15 feet, which I was very, very, very happy with. And then, yeah, it was a solid practice. Definitely. I do not actually have another practice this week. There's a big meet happening on the women's side, and so I'm doing running workouts to finish out the week, which honestly, like, it's not even. I think it'll also be good for me. Give my hamstring a little bit time away, a little bit of time, a week to recover, and just work on speed and conditioning work and get ready for outdoor season. Yes, I think that I am in quite very good shape going into outdoor season, which I'm very happy with. That has been the goal. The way that I've been training for these last few months is basically gearing me towards having something good go during outdoor season. So that's the goal. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. And that is the second time that future generations have been in serious danger. All right. Thank you for watching. See you next week.